And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service in Alaska region on this Monday, August 12th, 2024. And if you'd like additional weather information on top of what I provide in this YouTube video, you can go to weather.gov. That is the National Weather Service's online presence. It'll bring you to a map of the continental U.S. on the website, with Hawaii and Alaska to the lower left, and then tabs for the territories. And I'd like to start out the show with a quick check about what's going on across the lower 48, because often we have things that influence the weather in Alaska, as well as people are coming and going both ways. You may be going to visit family or friends, or they may be coming up to Alaska. And we still have areas of potential flooding, flood watches here, eastern North Carolina, due to just a moist flow of air coming in off of the Atlantic Ocean. We have heat advisory southern Florida, lower Mississippi Valley in through the southern plains, flood watches in eastern Colorado for slow moving thunderstorms that could cause flooding as a result of just heavy downpours. And then we have a mix of red flag conditions, either due to scattered, mainly dry thunderstorms with lightning strikes that could cause fires, or winds with hot temperatures, dry conditions that could really cause fires to take off if something were to ignite. But here in Alaska, this early morning, a surprise severe geomagnetic storm. There was the potential for a geomagnetic storm, at least originally anticipated, and the NOAA space weather forecasters were considering a moderate to maybe briefly strong storm, but it jumped the gun there before daybreak. I'll show you that in a moment. Drier and warmer weather is expected midweek across much of the mainland, especially the southern, central, and eastern mainland. But this progressive pattern of Bering Sea and North Pacific lows will bring a stronger west coast storm Wednesday night through Thursday and Friday along areas of the west coast. And certainly that'll bring a more kind of active early fall kind of pattern to it. So early this Monday morning, pre-dawn, Point Warren's off there in Anchorage. This image is taken by a local photographer, Ben Traylor, and that's a decent aurora. Even though our night sky isn't as dark as it might be here in another week or two, this was a strong enough event to make it easily visible and photographed. And here's the spike right around 4 a.m. The planetary K-index hit 8, which is a severe level. 9 is the highest on the scale. And it briefly spiked, allowing for the auroras to be visible. They were also visible far south across areas of the central United States. So taking a look at what we got going on this afternoon, there's a front approaching right up along the northwestern Arctic coast. Wainwright, partly sunny, breezes picking up there, 46 degrees. Dutch Harbor enjoying sunshine, mostly sunny, 54, and ridge of high pressure that's influencing their weather is going to build up at the Alaska Peninsula into the mainland tomorrow and Wednesday. So that is going to provide improving weather to the Alaska Peninsula and areas of the mainland that have been very soggy here since the middle of last week. Skwentna still has a flood warning in effect there for the Skwentna, Yentna, and Lake Creek streams. Good news is moderate flooding has now fallen back down to minor flooding, and we expect that drop off to continue Tuesday into early Wednesday. The rain showers that have been lingering in that area today are caused by a secondary disturbance that'll be moving out of here as we go through the afternoon and evening. And then Ketchikan, cloudy skies, showers in the area, 64 degrees. Yesterday, Ketchikan had the state's high temperature at 74, so the cloud cover and scattered showers keeping their temperatures down today. And a quick check of a few things that are going on still. We have some higher water levels on the Tanana River. We expect the river to crest around Manly Springs and areas further west. This special weather statement out here around the lower Yukon Delta, Norton Sound, the Seward Peninsula, including St. Lawrence Island, is for that stronger storm that'll impact the west coast coming Wednesday night, Thursday into Friday. And then areas along the Arctic coast, there is a high surf advisory from Point Lay down to Kivalina areas. Winds are picking up from the southwest ahead of this front that's pushing up along that area of the state. So last week we had heavy rainfall midweek and then over the weekend. So the flood warnings continue along Lake Creek, the Skwentna and Yentna rivers, but the good news is we've gone from moderate down to minor flood stage as the rivers begin to slowly recede. These were some scenes from late last week, Friday, flying over some of the cabins and lodges there out in that region of the Susitna Valley. But looking at the fire danger, overall, we expect fire danger to be pretty snuffed out across the state, maybe a little pocket of higher fire danger on Tuesday out there in the upper Tanana Valley, but that's about it. Things are, though, going to be drying out here as we go through the midweek period across a good portion of the mainland, especially across the south, central, and eastern areas. This cloud cover here is that secondary mid-level wave that's quickly moving across the region. As you can see here by already early afternoon, it continues to advance eastward. It does have some areas of rain and rain showers with it. But in the wake of it, any clearing that occurs tonight with all the soggy ground we have here across a good portion of the southern half of the mainland could lead to areas of fog in the morning, fall time. Late summer, early fall is a favorable time with clearing skies after we've had a wet period for fog to form, so keep that in mind if you have any early plans or trying to fly out of some location. Otherwise, the next notable weather system we have are off to our west. We have a front here that's pushing in along the northwest Arctic coast, eastern Russia, and the hints of the next low still southwest of the western Aleutians in the North Pacific. But here's today. Here's the one front up there across eastern Russia, so the southwesterly winds are increasing out ahead of it. That's why there's that high surf advisory from around Point Lay down to Kivalina. And then here's kind of the remnant low from the weekend system combined with this secondary wave that's coming through, and that'll continue to gradually advance eastward. Later tonight, the front doesn't make as much progress. It actually kind of stalls out here along the northwest Arctic coast, Utqiagvik to Point Hope. It may get a little further east of that, but not much more. It's going to stall out, waiting for this next low to lift out of the North Pacific, and that low is going to become better defined as we go through Tuesday night into Wednesday. So looking at, we still have lingering weak area of low pressure over the northeastern Gulf Tuesday afternoon. Low pressure out here in western Canada, kind of a trough that sits there, but this ridge, it's not only at the surface, but in the mid and upper levels is going to build up into south central and then up into the central mainland. This is going to provide much nicer weather, allow things to dry out. This area here really got dumped on with rain Friday, Saturday, even into Sunday in some areas. And the front here to the north may advance just a little further east before completely stalling. And then here comes the scenario for Wednesday. We have the high pressure centered south of the Gulf with the ridge extending up into the mainland Alcan border. That'll also help to improve the weather over the Panhandle as we go into the end of the week. In fact, some very nice weather setting up for the Panhandle Thursday and Friday with warmer temperatures. Back to the west, though, this front stalls out because this low is going to be tracking northeastward and deepening. It'll deepen to at least 980 millibars. It'll have gale force winds with some storm force gusts around it. Broad area, a rain shield, moderate to locally heavy rain, and that's all going to be expanding northeastward and impact areas of the west coast, especially from around Kuskokwim Bay, lower Yukon Delta, Norton Sound, Seward Peninsula, and even all the way eventually up toward Point Hope. But that system will be moving in that direction starting Wednesday night, and then really Thursday into the day Friday, impacting this entire area along the west coast with some of the rain and wind pressing into the western interior as well to close out the week. But looking at temperatures Tuesday morning, we have readings that'll generally be above 50 degrees in the Panhandle. Cooler though, if skies get some partial clearing, 40 degrees, very obtainable, we'll say at Gulkana on over toward Talkeetna, along with some areas of early morning fog. So keep that in mind. And then temperatures Tuesday afternoon should get back up low mid 60s across much of south central with increasing amounts of sunshine. The Panhandle here, we'll see readings in the 60s, maybe flirting with 70 around Ketchikan and Metlakatla. I think even warmer come Wednesday and Thursday in these areas. Again, 35 the low Wednesday morning there in the Copper River Basin. Could be some areas of frost and or fog form, but generally probably stay just above freezing. And then Wednesday afternoon, we expect even warmer temperatures. I would imagine near 70 there at Glen Allen. Mid-upper 60s Anchorage Bowl up through the valley at Willow and Palmer and Talkeetna. And then out to the west here, temperatures across the Panhandle still generally mid, maybe a few upper 60s. Along the central and northern portions of the mainland, temperatures stay above freezing tonight, with the exception of high elevation mountain locations. And then daytime highs, maybe 65 or so, Yukon Flats, Eagle. Even up here, though, along areas of the eastern Arctic coast, because of the flow, is going to allow for downslope there across the eastern North Slope. Back to the west, 40s along the northwest coast, immediate Seward coastline. And then temperatures Wednesday morning, again, generally stay above freezing in most areas. And we're looking for daytime highs getting back up mid-60s to maybe even near 70 over the central eastern interior. Definitely more in the way of sunshine across this area for Wednesday. So get out and enjoy it, because to flirt with 70 degrees, we know as we draw summer to an end, I can feel it, see it on the weather maps. We're going to get a taste of more of an early fall pattern, especially when we start getting those stronger lows coming in off the Bering Sea. And for areas across the southwest interior, lows tonight generally in the 40s. Could be some areas of fog in the morning along and west of the Alaska Range. And then temperatures extending down along the Alaska Peninsula into the eastern Aleutians, mid-upper 40s. Temperatures Tuesday afternoon will be generally in the 50s, though I think some spots will hit 60, perhaps McGrath, down through King Salmon, Dillingham, and as warm as 66 over Kodiak City. Wednesday morning lows generally in the 40s, stop around 50 there at Dutch Harbor. Otherwise, temperatures better chance of getting into the 60s, especially along and just west of the Alaska Range. It could even be isolated 70-degree reading with any sort of downslope, and then temperatures even up near 60, trailing out along the Alaska Peninsula from Cold Bay down toward Dutch Harbor. So again, this hasn't changed much. This is the extended temperature map for August 18th through the 22nd. So now this takes us past mid-month, and still more of the same. Coolest temperatures average below normal along the west and southwest side of the state. Warmer temperatures toward the Alcan border, the northeast, including the Panhandle, where temperatures will likely average above normal. That would imply some sort of ridging in this region with cooler trough of low pressure out here over the Bering into the west side of the state, and then maybe more of a southerly flow at times coming into south central areas along the western Gulf, which would lead to above normal precipitation. We find the greatest threat or chance of above normal precipitation along and north of the Alaska Range, northern half of the mainland, but wouldn't be surprised to get some of that coming on up in through here, depending on exactly what the storm system track will be like through that period. But again, August 18th through the 22nd, precipitation is expected to average a bit below normal there for the Panhandle. Doesn't mean you're not going to get any rainfall, it just means it won't likely end up being excessively above normal. So that's the way things stand now here past and beyond mid-August.